Football in South America is rocky to say the least. Many South American countries are fighting to resolve instabilities that they find themselves in. One, of course, I could think of is Brazil, that's struggling due to mismanagement. Argentina is trying to stay above that racism row that erupted amidst recently. But today we bring you, of course, the story of two-time world champion side Uruguay, who seem to be caught in the middle of a massive controversy that's threatening to tear the team apart. The accusations come from Uruguay's all-time highest goal scorer, a big name really, and recently retired Luis Suarez. His fingers are pointing at Uruguay's manager, coach, and one of the biggest names in football again, Marcelo Bielsa. Suarez has lashed out at Bielsa and blamed the Argentine for Uruguay's current state of affairs.
I will ask the fans not to take it out on the players when things go wrong. Bielsa has divided the whole group because of the way he trains. The players will reach a limit, they'll explode. We all know that he doesn't like to deal with players with experience. I had to keep quiet out of respect for the national team and for the sake of coexistence.
The accusations by Suarez are indeed severe. He says Bielsa has divided the team. Just recently, Uruguay finished third in the Copa America tournament. They lost to Colombia in the semi-final and somehow managed to secure the third spot after a penalty shootout win against Canada. Here's a fact though, it's not like Uruguay were uber successful before Bielsa came along last year. Their last major international triumph came way back in 2011 with the Copa America title win. But coming back to the present, this year though, they had a fair chance to go the distance. Reason? One of the strongest countries in South America, Brazil, aren't at their very best. The biggest threat to Uruguay was from Argentina. But Suarez feels it's the divide in the team that has led to their collective failure as a group.
There were even teammates who said to me they were only playing in the Copa America and nothing else. The staff are not allowed to come in and greet us or eat with us. Many of the players held a meeting to ask the coach to at least say good morning. He didn't even say hello. It hurts me to see what the national team is going through.
Suarez seemingly releasing that hornet's nest here. He's even relaying a few anecdotes, questioning Bielsa's training methods, and it comes as a shocker because in the past, Suarez has played under Diego Simeone, a manager who admires Bielsa and claims that his style of football is heavily inspired by Bielsa, another strict taskmaster who believes in getting the results. And it's not just Simeone who holds Bielsa in high regard. In fact, as one of the greatest minds in football, from Mauricio Pochettino to Pep Guardiola and even Jurgen Klopp, the list of top-class managers who admire Uruguay's under-fire coach at the moment, Bielsa, is a very long one. So clearly, it's not the technical prowess or that aspect which Suarez is questioning, but something much more important or critical for the functioning of a group. One of Bielsa's former players tries to reason this.
Bielsa cannot have a negative attitude towards people. The Chileans can confirm what I'm saying. He has always been very composed with the players. It's not about his attitude towards people, but rather that his style is more distant and professional.
Style is more distant and professional. Maybe the approach has worked for many other teams in the past, but it's not working with Uruguay. But what is Suarez, who's happily retired, enjoying his stint with the MLS team Inter Miami, raking this all up now? What has he to gain? That's hard to really say or put fingers to at the moment, but the concern definitely stems from the fact that in less than 2 years, there is going to be a World Cup. And despite Uruguay not winning a World Cup title in more than 70 years, they are always considered top contenders, feisty contenders who can give a tough contest to any opposition. Bielsa was brought in for this very reason, to make Uruguay a commendable force, a team that has the potential to compete at the international stage consistently. But Bielsa seems to be caught in a web that runs deep because Suarez is not the only one.
It's true that some things happened. Some problems have arisen and they need to be resolved behind closed doors. The priority is to be in a harmonious environment for the good of the team.
rightfully pointed out here that a good environment is key to success. A toxic culture doesn't really work, let alone in a national team. The biggest example was seen with the Indian men's cricket team. They brought in one of the biggest faces in cricket to coach India, Greg Chappell. But what really happened? In the period between 2005 and 2007, India suffered one of the biggest slumps in their cricketing history. Chappell took over a side that had potency and turned that all upside down. But by the time Chappell left, India were knocked out of the 2007 World Cup in the group stages itself. The captaincy transition from Sourav Ganguly to Rahul Dravid was a chaotic one. In short, the Indian cricket team was left in shambles. Maybe something similar is happening with the Uruguay national side. They have a world-class coach, a coach who comes with solid reputation, but with an approach that is clearly not working and supposedly, allegedly dividing the team. That's what their top goal scorer says. A chaotic dressing room isn't something that the country wants. We saw what it did to an Indian dressing room, and just like what cricket is to India, football is to Uruguay. Clearly, the Uruguay Football Association has a big decision to make, one that will need to resolve this dispute and bring football back to focus.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.